Hi friends, welcome to this video lecture. Today we are going to understand a long writing task, that's a report writing. Initially, let me explain you what does the report writing mean. A report is written account of something that one has observed, heard, done, or investigated. It is a systematic and well organized presentation of facts and findings of an event that has already taken place somewhere. Reports are used as a form of written assessment to find out what do you have learned from your reading, research, or experience, and to give you experience of an important skill that is widely used in the workplace. I can explain you its a meaning in other words too. A report is a brief account of an event that has already taken place. The report helps in recording the events of importance that occur in our day-to-day life. It attempts to present the first-hand information of an incident or event. A report of an event presents a record of events that took place. A report of an event includes one's ideas, opinions, and expression about the event. Talking about marks, it comes as a 10 marks question. The breakup of marks for class 11 and 12 English writing skill report writing as per the CBSE marking scheme for the educational year. Format, reading a heading and reporter's name, that's a 1 mark. Content, 4 marks. Expression, 5 marks. And the marks in the expression are classified in the following way. The first point, grammatical accuracy, uh, appropriate words and spellings, 2.5. And the next point, as a criteria for marking, coherence and relevance of ideas and style, 2.5. So total, the question on this writing task will carry for 10 marks. Now let me familiarize you with the format of a report writing. Generally, two types of reports are asked in the CBSE class 11 and 12 English paper, namely newspaper report or a magazine report. Newspaper report is the one which is published in newspaper, and magazine report is generally written for a school magazine. Talking about the exam in the writing section, section B, it comes as a very long answer type question for 10 marks. Generally, there is a choice internal between the following: debate writing, article writing, speech writing, or report writing. So, usually, internal choice is there in the exam. The question for report is supposed to be answered within the prescribed limit of 150 to 200 words. And now, related to this format, here are the two columns. That's one that is of a magazine report, and the second one is related to the newspaper report. So let me explain you in detail what points covered under the format, and try to understand the contents of the formats. The first, heading, a descriptive title which is expressive of the content of the report. So it should be eye catching and relevant one. It should be clear, it should not be doubtful, and it should not be too long. So selective words should be there, and it should be appealing, and it should cover the overall content of the report. Then byline, name of the person writing the report. It is generally given in the question. Generally names are given, comes occur in the question itself. Remember, you are not supposed to mention your personal details in your answer. So one care should be taken that personal details should not be inserted as a byline or anywhere in the answer. Then moving forward, the body of the report, the first, that's a opening paragraph or introduction. It may include the five W's, namely what, why, when, where, along with the who was invited as a chief guest. And then in the body of the report or the middle paragraph, descriptive paragraph, or a narration, we can call it as a account of the event in detail, the proper sequence of event that occurred along with their description. It is the main paragraph and can be split into two short paragraphs if required. So even two paragraphs possible as per the event required or as per the description or narration required. Then the conclusion. This will include the description of how the event ended. It may include a quote experts from the chief guest's speech and how did the event winded up. So this is related to the magazine, how a magazine report should be. There's a little difference with the newspaper report. The newspaper report has slight changes, very minor changes are there. So let's try to understand now the format of a newspaper report. So as per the pattern provided or given by the CBSE, that's a headline, a descriptive title which is expressive of the content of the report, the same like a magazine report. Already I explained to you the criteria of the headline, and then the byline, name of the person writing the report along with the designation. It is generally given in the question as a you are reporter of Times of India, or you are reporter of Hindustan Times, like that. It might be given in the question itself. Remember, you are not supposed to mention your personal details in your answer. So this is the care we have to take. Then here is the change or difference compared to the magazine report: place and date of the reporting. So this is a new new component compared to the magazine writing. It is generally not mentioned in a magazine report, but when we are concerned with the newspaper report, so two things should be inserted, should be added: place and date of the reporting. But here it is required. Then the opening paragraph, it includes the expansion of the headline. It needs to be a short and it is a general overview of the report. So in the first paragraph we have to introduce the headline or the title, and the initial sentences can be added here, and then account of the event in detail. In the following paragraph we can add all the details, all the thorough content required for the report. It is generally written in two parts. First, complete the account of what happened in its chronological sequence, preferably, and the second, the witness remark, and then the concluding paragraph. This will include the action that has taken so far or that will be taken. It is the last paragraph. So this is the format of the magazine report as well as a newspaper report. I tried to explain you the difference and what are the changes in between these two types of a report. Moving forward, dear students, here is a very valuable guideline for you to attempt the question based on writing skill, that's a report writing, in a better way. The first point, that's a language. Make sure you use language which is suitable for the audience, for the readers you are addressing or you are writing for. Usage of complex vocabulary for addressing children is not advisable. So very selective words should be there, very simple words should be there, small sentences should be there, and we have to avoid the lengthy sentences and complicated one. So the language should be very lucid and the flow of it should be a very comfortable one. So the reader should understand the content, the opinion expressed in the report. So the writer, the author should take care of the language. We should be appealing and we should be attractive one, and we should catch a very easy line to the reader. Then the use of vocabulary should be a very careful one. one should not follow the tough, difficult, complicated wordings in the report. So instead, the appropriate, the relevant, and uh, the easy words should be followed. Then, and coming to the next point, that make sure you write in paragraphs as per format. At least 2 3 paragraphs should be there, and what should be in first paragraph, second paragraph, then third paragraph. That's already explained in the format. So that norm should be followed in respect to the paragraphs. In the beginning, in the introductory paragraph, there should be the initial description of the event or any mishap or any accident or any program. So that should be there. And in the second paragraph, the writer should try his level best to answer why, w, what, where, when, who, and how. So these questions should be answered in the second paragraph, in the middle, or a very narrative paragraph, in a descriptive paragraph. So paragraphing should be apt one, and the word limit should be followed strictly. Then practice of question, practice previous year question papers. So this will be very helpful to a student to understand how this question should dealt, and how it should be solved. So he can get a good guideline, and he can get a very good practice, so that will be helpful in his preparation. So this is a very good tactics for the student to practice the previous year question papers. Then reading of samples, read as many as samples you can. It will give you an idea that how they are actually written. So sample question papers or sample questions based on report writing should be read by the student as much as he can, as many as he can. So that will be a very helpful one. Then reading of newspapers and magazines. Then read the questions at least twice and highlight the important information. It is very important to understand the question. So whenever possible to the student, you should go through different newspapers and magazines, so they can understand how newspaper and magazines follow the language, and how they are different from other writing section, and what type of formal vocabulary they follow. So that style they can adopt. They can understand how newspaper report should be written and magazine report should be written. So they will understand what is the difference between the other segment of writing and this report writing. Because the report writing, they are based on the facts, they are based on the relevant information, and actually these reports are based on the actual okay happenings. That's why uh, read the questions, read the reports at least twice, and highlight the important information through newspapers and magazines. This will be a very good practice for the student. The famous physicist, scientist, Albert Einstein once rightly said, if you can't explain it simply, you didn't understand it well enough. So the meaning is that one should very easily understand what is explained in the form of writings. Then you can understand it well enough if the explanation is simple one. Now here, plan before you pen. Just make a list of all the important points on the rough sheet or the last sheet of the your answer sheet, so that you do not forget relevant points while writing. This also helps you to maintaining a sequence, which is very important one. The sequence should be logical, and the points should be connected in the well manner. So the first strong points, and then minor points, and again you can end with the strong points. So this logical sequence should be followed, and uh, the points which we are going to insert, so that should not be left out. When it will come in your mind, so you can put on the paper, or you can note down last sheet of your booklet, so that will be very helpful one. Then the selective approach, you have to be very selective in vocabulary, in points, in opinion, or in views. The after opinion should be inserted, and the odd or the minor or the negative points, those should to be avoided, those should not be inserted in the report. The point which are relevant, the point which are okay, appealing to the content or to the topic, so those should be given preference. And the points which are a minor one, not connected to the topic or the subject, so those should be avoided, they should not be inserted in the report. Then begin with the important, so always give focus to the important point, always give more weightage to the very important points, and should be added in the report. So always give stress, focus, importance, or preference to the important points. And then follow word limit. You know very well, all the writing tasks, the word limit is, that's a 150 to 200 words. So try to conclude, try to finish in about 150 to 200 words. We should not exceed the word limit at any cost. So we have to follow the criteria, we have to follow the limitation of a word, and at any rate, at any cost, we are not going to cross the word limit. And then the follow facts, events. Author should always follow facts related to the report writing. He has to put what happened in the event, how the event okay occurred. So always he should rely on the facts. He should not give any scope to the imaginative ideas or views. Those should be avoided. That can be possible in the imaginative story writing, or any article. So there these things are possible. But when we are concerned to the report writing, there facts matter. Realistic approach is needed. How the function was held, and who were present when, and what things were included, and in what manner it was concluded. So all these things are required to be noted down, to be listed in the report writing, with the help of a good wording, with the help of a selective vocabulary. So that is needed, that is the point of view about the this. Then the next point, that's avoid deviation. All the narration description should directed to the event, to the function, or any mishap, accident. Any information should not be other than the event. So deviation should not be there, it should be avoided. Whatever whatever writing of the report, so that should be everything, it should be related to the event, or the subject, or the topic. So nothing other than the topic or the subject should be there. Author should be very particular about this. Specific information should be inserted. This care should be taken by the author. In the deviation in any matter, in any component, or at any paragraph, should be avoided. So there should not be any irrelevant information in the report. Report should be apt, it should be based on fact, and it should be very authentic, and it should be based on witnesses and proofs, etc. So it should not be fictitious, it should not be factless, or it should not be based on the wrong notion or any imaginary things. So these things should not be there in the report writing. Author should take care of all these things. And then the next, avoid repetition. Repetition of a thoughts and views or a remark should be avoided. uh, any repetition should be not required. So that's why repetition of any word or any remark, so that should not be there. The next point, that's care of a presentation. So this is very important point to be noted down. The presentation is very important. Uh, as you know very well, all the writing tasks should be put in a box drawn by pencil around it, and then the heading title always should be in capital letters, and those should be underlined, and those should be at the center, at the top of the page or a box. And then make sure you double check for grammatical accuracy and spelling, because they carry marks. Try to avoid the mistakes and errors of grammar, and as well as the spellings also. So make sure that there's no any grammatical error or mistake and the spelling. You have taken care of the accuracy and the perfection of these two things. Then leave adequate number of lines between the paragraphs to make it look clean. So paragraphing should look very fine and nice. So the proper number of wordings in each paragraph should be okay, taken care. One paragraph or first paragraph, so that's of 100 words, and the second paragraph, that's of 25 lines, and the last paragraph should be of 50 words. So this deviation should not be there. So equal proportion should be there. Balance should be maintained in the paragraphing. So leave adequate number of words in each paragraph or between the paragraphs to look it clean. So that will give a very good picture of presentation. And then underlining the main points is very important one, but it is advised to do after the finishing of your exam. Use pencil and scale for underlining. So that's a very good guideline one. Then make small sentences. It restricts the scope of grammatical inaccuracies. If you are inserting very small sentences, drafting or composing very simple and small sentences, so that restrict the scope of any grammatical inaccuracies or errors or mistakes. So these points are related to the presentation. That's why presentation always matter a lot. And if you want to impress the examiner, so in view of the presentation in the exam, so a lot of care should be taken by author or by the student in respect to this. Dear students, let me explain you some of the value points for the better understanding of this topic. A well-written report must possess the following traits or following points or following value points. The first one is adherence to the specification of the report brief. So author should stick to the topic, to the subject, and specification should be there. Particularity should be there. Specific references should be there. So he should very strictly firm to the topic and to the report. Then analysis of relevant information. In the body of the report there should be analysis, but it should be based on the relevant information, as I explained earlier. So fictitious or emotional or that's imaginative expression, description, narration should be avoided. Always reports are based on the facts and on the events what happened in the past. So that is required in the report. Structuring material in a logical and a coherent order. So there should be a proper sequence, proper structure should be structuring of material means proper paragraphing should be there. Whatever content is there, so that should be structured in a logical and a coherent manner. So that should not be there should not be any confusing or any such different one. So that should be a coherent one. The proper sequence should be there, and the linking of the content should be a logical one, and it should be apt one. Presentation in a consistent manner according to the instruction of the report brief. So the consistent manner should be there, in the presentation. So author should follow consistency in presenting the instructions, or in presenting the event in the report. So that should be there. A consistent manner should be followed by the author. Making appropriate conclusion that are the supported by the evidence and analysis of the report. So the last paragraph, that's the conclusion, and conclusion should be appropriate one, and that should be supported by the evidence or analysis of the report. So one care always author should be taken regarding the last paragraph or the conclusion. So always support it with proofs or with evidences or the analysis of the report. So these are the some of the important value points in better understanding of this topic. Dear students, in the last segment of this lecture, here is a specimen question with which we'll try to understand the topic in a better way, and how the questions appear in the board exams, in the annual exam, and how those should be solved in a better way. So in a quick manner, I'm going to explain you the specimen question and the possible answer solution of the question. MMD School Nasik recently organized a science symposium on the topic effect of pollution on quality of life. You are Amit Amita Razdan, editor of the school magazine. Write a report on the event for your school magazine. 120. No, you should be taken as a 150 to 200 words. So CBSE 2018. The solution of the question. Answer: report on science symposium held at MMD School Nasik. This is the heading title of the report. This should come at the center of the box or page, and it should be written in capital letters, and underline should be there. It should be in the bold letters, and from the middle of the box, after putting dash, author's name should be there, and already it's there in the question by Amita Razdan, editor of the school magazine. So there's this report is related to the school magazine, so there's no need that a date and the place is required to return in the left corner of the margin, or there's no any uh, addition of the date and place to the left side, left corner, or that's a margin. Here the body of the report. A symposium was organized on the 1st March 2018 in the school of the on the topic effect of pollution on quality of life. All the science students were part of a felicitative program. The event started with the felicitation of the guest speaker. Thereafter, the participants were exposed by Sri Suraj Prakash. He acquainted them with the objectives and goals of a workshop. The resource person, Dr. Hariom Gupta, reflected his profound knowledge on the topic and highlighted how important it is to curb the menace of pollution. An exciting demonstration of effects of pollution on our lives galvanized the engrossed participants. After the lunch break, Dr. K.K. Arora, resource person, exhibited the possible steps that can be undertaken at the personal level to reduce pollution It was followed by another session on the topic concept behind pollution reduction, which triggered the young minds into thinking innovative ways. An interactive on course ignited the inquisitiveness of participants. They have committed themselves completely to bring about a change in the situation. The informative workshop culminated with a vote of thanks proposed by the head of the science department. Thank you for watching this video.